Hi everyone, Godfather Prepper, and I want to show you something that just gives me a little bit of motivation. Yellow leaves. Things are starting to turn. Now most of the trees are still plenty beautiful green, but fall is just around the corner, so it's time to start preparing for winter. And I wanted to thank all of you who have subscribed. I've got a lot of stuff on tap in the very near future. I'm going to build a solar oven. We're working on a Wallapini, and if you don't know what that is, hello, Cooley. It is a underground greenhouse, and that is so we can grow food year-round. We're also working on a above ground greenhouse. I've got that on tap too. That's going to be another fall thing. In fact, I'd like to get it done before our first freeze in the next probably 10 days so I can put my tomatoes inside. Now I wanted to show you something. I'm going to be doing also a full video on these. Your operational security, OPSEC, really requires that you have communication, and I have got in my hand one of the neatest little long-range radios you'll ever find anywhere. This is a Cobra MicroTalk. It has 121 privacy codes, has a 27-mile range. My son-in-law lives as the crow flies, and you can see this is some pretty rugged country out there. As the crow flies, he lives about probably 8 to 10 miles away, and he can talk to me from his front porch, which is actually not line of sight, and it's absolutely crystal clear. So far I'm amazed. What I'm going to do is test these and do an actual 20-plus mile line of sight test and see how they work. They've got a lot of features, including this one. I love this one.
It was mostly sunny, with a temperature of 72. At Wolf Creek Pass, it was cloudy, with a temperature of 46.
So that's the Cobra MicroTalk, and I will, in the very near future, be doing a video on all of the features on this thing. It's got just tons of them. Too much to cover in just in a little blurb. And this is why I'm concerned about those yellow leaves. This is a probably around a 5-gallon pot container. And look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Just astounding size of apples. Just an amazing amount of fruit on this tree. Anyways, it's not hardly it's not turning, so we're going to have a lot of green tomato enchilada sauce, but I'm hoping we can get some more red ones so I can do some sun drying. Isn't that beautiful? Here's another one, just typical. Sorry about my shaky hands, but isn't that just beautiful? And then we've got this thing here is absolutely loaded with big fruit. And then if you notice, our upside down container, these are monsters. Bear with me. Look at the size of that thing. It's a monster. It's beautiful. Now, I love planting peppers. They're another, if you don't have a lot of space next year, just get yourself some buckets. I talk about how to get them. They're free. And look at this. You can grow so much in these small planters. Chili peppers, bell peppers do not need a lot of soil, and they do extremely well. Look at this. This is kind of a test. Every year I play with them. But look at this. This thing was loaded. I've already picked some off to give to people. And that's a little, probably 1.5 gallon pot. Now here's my planter that I have plans for in my blog. And you can get these buckets for free. You can scrounge the wood. I put a fence around it to keep the deer out, but fortunately have not had a problem with them this year. But look at this. It's just, there's so much fruit. And it's big too. There's so much. It's mind-boggling. Everywhere. Just, these are loaded. So unless they start turning, I'm in real trouble. We're going to have more green than we are. There's a little tomato. More green than we are red. But fortunately we have a good look at the size of these things. Thing is huge. Beautiful, spectacular. So now's the time to start thinking about next year's garden. I've already got some plans for I'm going to go, we had so much weeds, and I weeded this year. Take a look. Just unbelievable. We could not stay ahead of it. So I'm basically going to put everything possible into buckets and containers. Look at these. Here's another one. Just an unbelievable amount of fruit. And, you know, you can grow buckets and containers almost anywhere. My first year for cabbage, and I'm really happy with it. That's a nice big head of cabbage. And just had a really good year as far as the garden goes, but we still need a little bit. Hopefully we get a little bit of an Indian summer here and get a few more weeks so I can get a little more growth on this stuff. Now, I just can't tell you how good it feels to go out to your garden and pick this stuff. God's bounty. You know, tomatoes, these little strip mine ones at the store are running, I don't know, $1 or $2 a pound, but they're just tasteless. You taste a tomato from a garden and they're just there's no comparison. But yesterday I took probably 10, maybe 12 pounds of tomatoes to the Senior Citizen Center, and I still have more tomatoes than I'll ever be able to use. Look at that. Look at the size of that one. Aren't those beautiful? Look at that. That's just a huge tomato. But been blessed this year with a really good crop. And I can't recommend enough that you consider gardening. I'm not a gardener. My wife can grow orchids in concrete, and there are times I actually killed my zucchini this year. How do you do that? I have no idea. But you know what? Persistence. Took me about 3 weeks to figure out my watering schedule, and do a lot of reading and just a lot of trial and error. And this year it finally really paid off. This isn't even the melons and the watermelons. Now this is one of my favorite parts of growing a garden. This is salsa that has 3 types of chilies, 2 types of peppers, 3 types of tomatoes, carrots, onions, and lime, and it is absolutely fantastic. Now, because this lid doesn't come off, we want to figure out a way to use it. So what I have done is you take a pen and you scribe a line, as you can see there, and you can do a couple of things. You can drill a hole right here, just a small hole, and put your jigsaw in it and cut around, or you can use a small hand saw, circular saw. Don't set the, just only have enough blade showing to do what you need to. You can cut around there like that. Be careful, very careful. Or you can do what I do, and that is use the table saw. I cut a lot of these things, so I just like to get it done. Okay, here's what I've ended up with. A nice tray, really a bulletproof, sturdy tray that you can use for storing parts in. You can use it for changing oil or just whatever you need to. You can put vegetables in it. You can drill holes in the bottom and use it for rinsing fruit or vegetables. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this. If you take a piece of sandpaper and just hit this edge on the outside and inside, it'll clean up really nicely. Now, we're stuck with this. What you do with this is really simple. You take and drill 2 or 3 holes in the bottom, and here's what you do with it. A really neat planter. It's got a wider base than it has a top, and they work great for tomatoes and peppers. There's the proof right there. Here's another little tip. Right now everybody's getting rid of their summer stuff, and you'll see these seeds on sale at places. Walmart has them. Normally they're only 20 cents a package, which is an unbelievable deal. And they're good seeds. I've grown carrots and tomatoes. This is from, they haven't been washed yet, but that's a lemon cucumber, a white cucumber. And if you go to the Dollar Tree right now, some of them will have these seeds. 10 packages for $1. What I do is I buy $3-4 worth, and I vacuum pack them. And then I put the date on them, and I've got them for future use in an emergency if I need them. They'll last for years if you store them in the proper environment. And they're a good producer. They make really good. They produce really good fruits and vegetables. Now here's a really neat thing. Sprouts are not only good for you, they're a good prepper food because you can have a lot of sprouts and they're nutritious and they're just really, they're excellent because they don't require refrigeration or anything. In other words, before, you just take the seeds and put them in storage and use them as you need them. Here's a batch of sprouts I just did, mung beans, and I want to show you how to make a sprout container. These are plastic canvas for needlepoint. They're available at Walmart. There are 10 of them for about 97 cents, I believe. And all you do is you take this, and if you have a lid, you simply mark around it and then cut it to size. It's real simple. And then this is your new lid instead of the old metallic one. These are canning jars, and they're available anywhere. I mean, you can get them at thrift shops. They have them at yard sales. They're on Free Cycle. You can get them. People use them. People give them away. So you can run 6 or 8 or 10 different sets of sprouts, whatever you like, and for different occasions or different types of foods. But like I said, they're excellent for preppers.